Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar. My name is Anna. I'm the project manager at Solarplaza. So today our topic is Hungary's energy storage tender and how the upcoming 440 megawatts of battery storage is set to transform the national grid. Hungary has recently made big strides with energy storage tender, and we're here to dive into what that means for the country's future, with 440 megawatts of storage capacity expected by 2026 across 50 projects. Hungary is positioning itself as a key player in Europe's energy transition. These projects are not only essential for stabilizing the grid, but also present new opportunities for investors and stakeholders in the energy markets. Well, before we dive deep into the topic of this webinar, let me just walk you through a little bit about how our agenda looks like, which is nice and short. So we will go a little bit about the company to those who didn't hear about Solarplaza before, and some practical details, the boring part, but I promise it's going to be short. And then some cherry on the cake, of course, we will talk about our discount for the upcoming conference in Budapest. Then we will move to the most interesting part, of course, an actual presentation by our esteemed speaker, Istvan Pocs. So let me just do a little bit of introduction about the company. So if you didn't already know, at Solarplaza, we specialize in organizing solar conferences for attendees to share their knowledge and to network. I think we have already more than 225 plus events across the world. You can check our website to see our current agenda for 2024. We already have some live events for 2025, but more things are coming. So the webinar itself is one of our main content pieces in the lead up to our conference on the 27th of November in Budapest. This will be, I think, our already 5th edition, which is exciting. We look forward to welcoming you as well there to be in person. I would suggest you to make use of this discount displayed on the screen. Just the code will be also shared with you along with the recording and the slides after the webinar. So please use this opportunity to have a nice discount and a good price. A little bit about the practical details. So the overall time for the webinar is roughly between 35 to 40 minutes. Of course, we can do a little bit more for a Q&A part. It depends on how many questions we have asked, of course. And to do so, I will highly advise you to use the Q&A box that you can see in your top right corner. There is a little square with a question mark. That's where you can ask your questions. There is also a chat box functionality that you can use if you're experiencing some technical issues, or you can do the same within the question mark box because no one else can see your questions. So don't hesitate if you have some troubles hearing. Let us know. We will try to help you. Or otherwise, if you have any other questions, please drop them during the presentation, and then we will pick them up after the presentation is over, where we have a Q&A part. So happy to help if you need any help with that. And just to remind you that, because I know that people sometimes ask about that, the presentation slides are available together with the recording and together with the codes that we will share with you roughly 1 or 2 days after the event. So don't worry, you will get that. Well, now we go to the most interesting part, of course. To help navigate this whole conversation, we will have a real expert in the field, Istvan Pocs. Istvan's been in the energy game, I think, for more than over 20 years, working on projects worth anywhere between $50 to $500 million. He played a big part in developing Hungary's renewable energy strategy, particularly solar and geothermal, and founded one of the country's leading PV development companies. So everyone, by the way, who is hungry right now, yes, I said hungry, not hungry, hungry, I would ask you to step away from the screen, because we not only have an industry expert, but also a cooking master chef. We might not only hear about the spicy tender results, but also how to make the best pasta with vegetables, right, Istvan? I asked Istvan, what would you share with the audience as your personal note? And by being inspired by one and only one Jamie Oliver, I think, he considers him a great cook. So maybe he'll share some cooking tip or two between talking about storage and balancing markets. Well, Istvan, I invite you without further ado, please join me in welcoming. We're eager to hear your insights on the tender results and what it means to the energy transition in Hungary. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Anna, for this nice intro. Well, yes, for sure I can share some good recipes. Also, some good recipes on the power market, how to cook the best storage opportunity for the companies. One addition, I also board member of the Hungarian Renewable Energy Association, which is collecting the biggest energy companies, and we will see some of them. I think all of them they will have storage projects after the tender. And as a founder of Pannon Green Power before my EDP career, I was also deeply involved to Pannon Green Power storage projects. So it's not just talking about this storage, but also having a real experience how it works in the capacity reserves market. So thank you very much. Then let's go to the slides. So let's start with the first one after this. And frankly speaking, I was really lucky because I had a rainy day when I developed this slide. So therefore, we can see the rainy day results over the Hungarian energy mix, because before that we had a sunny day, and these were the real data consumed from the TSO in 9 of September. So we can see that there significant drop in solar. More than 2 gigawatt from sunny day to the rainy day, and we can see that only 2 gigawatt of nuclear is up and running, and few fossils which is marked by sky blue and red, because that's the coal power plant. What we can see also in the right corner of the representation, that's the actual system export-import balance of Hungary, and probably it is too small, the number you cannot see that we expected by plans more than 1 gigawatt import from Romania, but in actuality it's happened only 200 megawatts. So it is the TSO is really facing with a lot of challenges, not only with the country production, but also with the export-import balance. For sure, we can see the actual, and that was also consumed in real time from the TSO website, the day-ahead schedule of the solar production, and also the corrected data, thanks to the recent improvements on the TSO. The intraday market started to work quite good, and we also reduced the lead time to make the corrections in real time to correct back the schedules. So we can go to the next slide. Yeah, thanks. In the next slide, we can see also this is the actual real data was on that day what I used. The green tube, the green channel is the actual AFRR capacities consumed by the TSO, and in the yellow tube we can see the reserves which was collected. As we see, because of the significant drop in the solar, so the TSO increased the projected reserves for the market. What we can see in the top right corner, that's the usual reserves. It's indicated with gray on AFRR market in a normal with a normal period, and we can see a significant increase from 200 to 700 in the peak period. So this is the challenges what the TSO faced with. And this is projected. This slide was This slide was presented by the TSO last year, so it's very recent. Also, it was the same. We can see the same graph. It's showing that's the increasing number of extreme imbalances in the systems. So it's what we can see, the TSO is definitely navigating on these stormy waters, and that gives us a great opportunity for storage. In the type of ancillary services, we can see what is the dominant direction of the reserves. So we can see that the negative reserves still dominate the market, but sometimes it's symmetric, so the storage can take a vital role both on positive and negative part of the market. We can go to the next slide. Well, we also see the prices, how it's increasing on the market. That shows from 2021 and by the end of 2023, and it's continued. We can see that the price is inflating, quite good for the investors, less for the TSO, but it is their problem. We also can see that there are a significant gap between the wholesale electricity prices on the day-ahead market on the OPEX, and also with the FRR market. So definitely a player who are playing on the reserves market can generate a nice margin. And we can also see in the bottom graph that it not really depends on the volumes. So it's not the increased volumes, but rather the rarity of the capacity where the storage can play in the future. We can go to the next slide. Well, and now we can see the actual and the policy scenario for the storage market. So, Pannon Green Power, small 5 megawatt, 10 megawatt hour storage is part of this 30 megawatt, roughly 30 megawatt storage what we have currently on the market. It's also playing on the FCR and also in the AFRR market, and for sure it's playing with the arbitrage as well. So we can see more than 1 gigawatt gas is part of the play, but these power plants are aging. Very recently, the TSO accepted to use solar on the negative part. So it is a definitely big increase. We will see later some nice graphs which what is causing this 1 gigawatt on the negative part. And in the bottom line, you can see the real distribution of the gas peakers. It's by the TSO, it's only 900 megawatts, which can be stable, which can be calculated as a stable reserves. So in the policy scenario, and that's share that's following the current over 6 gigawatt PV production portfolio and negligible wind. However, by the policy scenario communicated in the National Action Plan of Hungary in the recent update, Hungary wants to achieve 12 gigawatt of solar by the end of the decade, and 1 gigawatt of wind at least by end of the decade, which definitely stretching the system. So therefore, the Hungarian government definitely decided to increase the flexibility in the system. This 440 megawatt and plus the existing storage will take crucial part of the transition, of the energy transition. There is an attempt. We will see how it will work and how fast, and if ever happens, and then an opportunity to introduce long duration storage, so practically pumped hydro power plant in Hungary. Now it's under the feasibility study, and it is also a plan to introduce to the market 1.5 gigawatt new gas peakers. We will see that will be ran by the National Electricity Company. It's a long public procurement procedure, so I do not expecting really fast movement in these topics. What we can see and which will be visible, definitely the storage for the upcoming future. So we can go to the next slide. Yeah, and let's talk about the call itself. So it was a very professionally prepared in terms of content. It was more than 2 public consultation happened with active involvement also between the public consultation of the professionals by the HEPURA, the Energy Office of Hungary, and also with the ministries, whatever. So for that reason, it was not a big surprise that all the capacities had been fulfilled by applications in time. While the quality of the applications, I would say, it is majority of them, it is good, and later we will see the why. And some of them, from my perspective, is questionable if how the developer can go forward. By the numbers, more than 100 million euro had been dedicated for that, and the maximum capacity, maximum capex which could be obtained by subsidy, that was 31 million euro for one single project, and that is 45% of the total capex of the project. It was also there was also an OPEX subsidy for the project, and it is important distinction compared to the, let's say, to the Greek tender, that both standalone and co-located projects were allowed. Also, it was allowed to participate in the tender only, let's say, in the negative part. So you didn't have to have a producer license for the export capacity if you and especially it was a situation with the co-located solar projects where some of the players didn't ask an import capacity for the storage. The closing happened in February. The results had been published in 15th of May, and the contracts with the players already signed by the end of August. And as far as I know from the market, the first payments are already ongoing to those developers, investors who are in advance. Completion. It is really important that the project must have received AFRR accreditation from the MAVIR, from the TSO, which means in time usually takes a month, and it needs to be prepared. So the construction and go live should happen not later than February, March for the projects. We can go to the next slide. I am sorry, and you can stay here. And it is also important. There is a decree. You cannot see it in the box. I think it's a formatting issue. Probably when Anna will circulate the presentation, you will see, you can read it clearly. There is a decree which defining the availability and all the necessary factors how the investors can support it, and you should definitely look the details to fulfill the requirements. So then we can go to the next slide. Okay. 52 projects had been awarded. There are big ones, 50 megawatt, and smaller ones less than 2.5 megawatts. For sure, the smaller ones are by numbers are more, and the 50 megawatts less. Both co-located and both standalone projects. Well, I see that I sent a presentation and it contains the graph, but I didn't see in the screen. So I will tell you what you should see next to the flags. So almost 70% of the projects were large scale in terms of capacity, and all of these large scale projects are connected to the financially strong IPPs. So these are not cowboys, which is missing from the slide. Let's say the American port next to the American Portugal flag is a 100 megawatt project. It's owned by Greenbolt. After that, it should be a 70 megawatt project owned by National Electricity Company. Then 60 megawatt by MOL, which is by Alteo, which is an IPP. Recently, MOL, the National Electricity Company, which is the next in the flag, obtained majority share in Alteo. Then MOL with 40 megawatt, and a Swiss-based company MET, which originally was a Hungarian company. It's also obtained 30 megawatts. So altogether, these 5 projects holding 68% of capacity of the total, which is significant, and we can sure that these capacities will be handled professionally and will be executed, and we will see these capacities on the market. There is no questions. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. We calling it a CFD, but it's a CFD with some extras, because usually in a CFD you just need to focus to your strike price and to the reference price, and there is a room for paying and a room for gaining. If the reference price is lower, then you are getting paid till to your strike price. If it is higher than you paying, that's the normal CFD case. But in this tender, it's just one leg of the structure, because the support because you also receive the real revenue, and that you can see in the with the revenue 1 and the revenue 2. So if your real revenue is lower, but the reference price also lower than your strike price, you receiving plus 10 to your real revenue. Let's say rev 2 plus 10, you receive 90. But if you are if the reference price is 110 and you are just receiving revenue of 80, then it will be deducted, so you will receive at the end of the day 70. You can see in the bottom line. It's very easy to deal with this story, uh, because if you want to have a bankable project, what you need to achieve during your commercial negotiations, that your revenue should be equal to your to the reference price. And these offers are already existing on the market. So I know that several bigger aggregators and who are active in the capacity reserves market started to offer such kind of structures, which turns the project totally bankable, as you will always receive your strike price practically, and you pushing the risk to the real revenue generation, to the trader, to the aggregators, to a third party. So we can go to the next slide. And what is the size of the market what we are talking about? So what we need to understand that the TSO actually, because the tender was supported 2-hour storage, the TSO also customized the resource market to create place for the storage capacities, and these storage capacities can play on the daily and the intraday tenders. It is currently roughly 30% of the total capacity acquired by the TSO, but it can be more. What is the TSO statement? That the TSO will definitely use all the capacities which was awarded on the tender to the ancillary to the resource markets. So therefore, the capacities almost will work in a safe harbor. We can go to the next slide. And there are certain lucrative revenue streams with the storage. I always saying that the storage, like the Swiss knife, you can do almost everything with the storage. But as we see in the past, you can push it to someone else, so you don't need to be a MacGyver to run your storage professionally. So very first for sure, and it is again common in the European market, so nothing special. As we see the very similar patterns in the HUPIX market, in the wholesale prices during the night hours, the prices will start to raise because the solar is not working, and we do not have enough storage to leverage this period. For sure, in Hungary as well, the number of negative hours and also the very low income hours, let's say less than 10 euro, it's increasing. It's again not special to Hungary, and even it's less affected compared to the Iberia, but it's existing. So therefore, it is an opportunity for to store the electricity and shifting it to better days. You can always, if you are not won the tender, the second option for you always to go to the market and sell your capacity to the market for the balancing circles, because that will be an obvious case. And we have a really nice phenomenon which we try to check. So in the bottom right corner, you can see a graph where the warm colors showing to you the weekdays, and the blue colors the weekends, and also it's 10 hours, and it goes from July to August. What you can see here, that the prices for capacities in the morning and in the night time, increasing heavily. Why it's happening? Because during these periods, on the wholesale market, the prices are really high. These are, you see the negative part. So these are generated by the gas peakers who, if if they need to stop their operation, obviously they need to receive their own margin. So definitely they are receiving really nice gains on the negative part. And for sure, if it is a weekday, if it is a weekend, then it's happening also during the weekend. In the end of the presentation, you can see also the positive part of the AFRR. So the patterns are really similar, and also the capacities. So these, what you can see, these are the prices, but the obtained capacities by the TSO generating very similar patterns. So this is definitely, I would say, one of the first spots of the storage for the storage owners to obtain with in the future, if the market will remain as is. Let's see. I do not have a big crystal ball, just a small one. So let's go to the next slide. And this is it. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to answer to your questions. Try to give you some hints, both from the tender itself, so requirements as well, and also about the market, and also about the triggers. So please.
Well, thank you so much, Istvan, for your presentation. I think it was very, very interesting, knowledgeable, and apologies for the slides that were missing some information. We will distribute the slides how it should be, so don't worry about that. I think there was some corruption on the way. Let's hope not going to continue that way. But here there are some appendix slides, so you can also see them after the presentation is distributed. But for now, we're going to move to the Q&A part. I already see a couple of questions popping in, so keep them coming. We will try to answer them as soon as possible. But before we jump into it, I'm going to ask a very important question, Istvan. Imagine that you have unexpected guests coming in. What would be the meal that you're going to cook to them that always going to work?
Unexpected guess.
Yes, for dinner.
Look, I really like the wild meat, and usually I have in my fridge. So probably I will put something, either a deer or a wild pork. So it's that's and for sure. Um, Look, I always you cooking my recipes from the fridge, what I opening, and I cannot tell you what is what is right now there, but usually I doing on this way. But
Okay, well,
definitely would do something which is, quick, um, quick, fresh, whatever. Like Jamie is doing it with his guests.
every time, always surprised how he's doing that. But it's very good question, very good answer. I think that you're gonna have some unexpected guests soon. But let's jump now into storage questions, and we already see them coming in. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. Let's start with the first one. So I know also that you, the company, the Panon Green Energy, Green Power, sorry, Istvan, you also have some energy storage projects as well. I think you mentioned 5 megawatts of capacity right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you might speak not only from, the perspective of solar with your background, but also from your own experience with storage. There is a question about what is your opinion about storage and hydrogen? Uh, that would be good to hear your opinion.
Not for now. So because it's my understanding is that the hydrogen will take crucial part in the system. That's not a question, but the journey of the hydrogen will be much different what we are seeing, let's say, in the newspapers. Because my understanding is that firstly the bigger consumers will be the oil companies of the green hydrogen, because they have in the red-free legislation, they have obligation to use green hydrogen to the certain levels. And after that, all of the big energy consumers like the steel makers and these countries. So my understanding is that it will be not for storage, the hydrogen, at the beginning. Later, when the prices will drop for the electrolyzers, then definitely it will be an opportunity, but not right now. We have free fall of capex prices for the normal storage. And there was a nice story. I had a friend who never bought a video camera because he's seen that the price is always dropping for the video cameras, and he always waited for the next video camera for the lower prices. For that reason, he does not have videos from his kids.
Oh no.
So this is the real example how you can miss the opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good example. We all sometimes just try to postpone things because you are waiting for the reduced prices.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We have another question from Attila. When, in your opinion, energy storage will be profitable to invest in Hungary without subsidy?
Look, I have to confess that this first 5 MW storage, we launched it without subsidy, and it's
Okay.
up and running. So,
Well,
so it's already happened. Look, the storage is definitely the market for the first comers. So,
Mhm.
and it's even more problematic, like with the like in the example with the camera, because the second and the third wave saturating the market, the margins on the market. So I'm pretty sure that that even if the government would not subsidize the storage market, the storage will be anyway increased because it's a really lucrative market. What we see anywhere where the storage appeared, it just killed the gas units very quickly.
Yeah, I think that Attila was also wondering for this question as well. It's like if there is a real financial opportunity without the subsidy, which you just showed the example that there is, but can you maybe elaborate a little bit on that, question?
Look, when we launched in Pannon Green Power the storage, so we looked the AFRR prices, whatever, and frankly speaking, we didn't want to a cheap solution. So we invested to Tesla, so to the iPhone of the storage. So it was
Yeah.
absolutely not cheap, absolutely not cheap, but it's started to generate nice returns for sure. If we are going to large scale, then it will be questionable how you can fix your revenues. And for that reason, the government decided to support it, because the speed to increase the capacities on the storage market without subsidy would be not enough to handle these crazy periods what the TSO is facing with. So it's already, I would say, it was already profitable, with the falling capex prices, it will be even it will be even more. So I cannot sell my my storage on that price where I bought. Yeah. So it was a few years, and it's the asset price is halved. So it is profitable in my understanding, but you need to manage it professionally. I not really believe that the storage standalone. So without, let's say, connecting it to the virtual power plant, to the larger circle, it can be it can generate volume, because you need other production producers, other production sources to manage it professionally and react very quickly to the market movements.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that perhaps, Attila, if you're going to be in person joining our conference in Hungary, you might have a very interesting conversation with Istvan on this topic. We have a lot of questions popping in. We're probably not going to be able to answer all of them, but let's try to go for a couple of more. So there is a question on what is your opinion on alternative technologies for batteries, for example, vanadium redox flow batteries instead of Li-ion-based batteries? That's the question from Gabor.
Correct. That's a big shot. So compared to the hydrogen solution, I expecting a significant increase of these flow-based batteries by the end of the decade. What we can see now, that the production facilities, so the capacities for producing such kind of batteries are increasing, and by the end of the decade, as I can recall the number, it should be 189 gigawatt hour just for flow based. Well, we used Tesla because we wanted to enter to the market, and we didn't have time to any kind of R&D solutions. What 2 years ago, it was rather a question to be an R&D or to generate money. But it's changing. I definitely following these market trends from a very close distance, because I do believe that this is the next wave. And let's say if I would have a COD date close to the decade, I would start to build up my business model based on these batteries, because of the degradation, because of a lot of different solutions. I know that you can just plug out this battery, and it will store the energy. So you can store it on a seasonal way, at least for the iron based. So it unlocking several opportunities on the market, and yes, I would say it is an opportunity, but not right now.
I understand. Then we do have another question, and I think it probably comes from EPC. Are the EPCs already chosen, if you know, or contracted for these projects? Or is it going to be done as mentioned around 30 of September deadline?
As far as I know, for the big projects, the EPC tenders are some of them maybe closed, some of them up and running, but it definitely, let's say, to the bigger projects for sure, because of the risks of the projects, it should be done in time, because you need to consider the delivery of the batteries, and also the delivery of the transformer, and also the necessary lead time to construct the substations, which are time-consuming things. You need to consider 1.5 year for this at least, and that's a sporty calculation. So it can be even more. So as far as I know, these tenders are either up and running or already closed.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We do have, let's say, not to also get you completely tired, let's have maybe two more questions, and then
Okay.
we can look into responding to all other questions after the webinar. I can share it with you, Istvan, as well, and or we can all meet at the conference and get the questions answered as well. So the next question is, do you think that grid fees relief will become a norm to increase the attractiveness of BESS investments?
Grid fees.
Yeah,
Mm, maybe I need a bit more specific.
more expand. Yeah,
Yes, look, um, for this, so I need to understand what is the real part, real meaning of the question. So the grid fees, if you are a consumer, uh, you paying the grid fees usually in this case. For that reason, the local production for the let's say PV production on the roofs or next to the in an on-site case, you can save the grid fees. Yeah. Um, if you having a production facility which operates 5 days in a week, and you have storage, then you can use and because of the weekend days you cannot inject it to the grid, then you can storage. I don't think that really this really matters. The reserves market, the arbitrage, and all of this stuff gives much more value to the asset owners. If we are talking about grid fees of the storage, yeah, um, well, when you are a consumer, you should pay the grid fee. So it's not a question, and it will be
mm,
not changing. So you will be the storage will be exactly like a consumer. Now the for a temporary time. To promote storage, the government reduced the some of the fees for the storage, but frankly speaking, I don't really think that it will continue on long term. So I would not put any uh, single coin that
yeah,
that the grid fees would be lower, because we need a heavy investment in the grid, and the grid fees paying back the money of this investment. So it's not possible. You can do something from money.
fair. Fair. Thank you so much. And the last question, what I see, how much you know about the Robinhood tax. So how about the Robinhood tax? Will the BESS project in Hungary be subject to that?
All of the projects are subject to Robinhood tax. That's the short answer. For sure, we have so many promises from the government that it will be wiped out. Well, it was always there was a really good period for the Hungarian economy after recovery from the financial crisis, because the Robin Hood tax was introduced in that time, so 2008, and it's remained with us. It was not really a question for the renewables, because majority of renewables in that time received a subsidy, and the subsidy uh, and the subsidy freed it from the Robin Hood tax. I don't think that now I started to think that this subsidy freeing up the storage from the Robin Hood tax.
Mhm.
Frankly speaking, I need to. It's a good question. I need to think over that. But in general,
Prepare some answer for the conference.
Yeah. Because you know, I always check this from the angle that from a fully merchant based
Yeah,
storage perspective, but it is not that. I will come back with the in the answer with the answer later. Good
perfect.
question. Thank you very much. I also gained a lot.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Istvan, so much for the presentation you prepared and also for all the questions that you answered. There are more questions. It's a lot of interest. There are also people who are asking to get to know more about the tender results again. So that's what I advise you guys. If you really want to also get more insights from Istvan, just join in person. And it's always much better to talk with people in person. So for that, you can also use the discount code here presented. You will be seeing that also with the slides and video, the slides in a good format and with the information that we need. As well as if you are interested in other events that are territorially, geographically also make sense for your markets, Greece and Balkans, you are welcome to use the codes as well. This all will be shared. But in the meantime, I wish you all a good day. Istvan, once again, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hear about more of your meals in storage and in the real life. Yeah, well, have a good day then, everyone.
Thank you very much. And let's meet in the Solarplaza in November. I will be a panel speaker there, so it's anyway we can meet in person as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.